Okay, this practice SAC is for outcome 1 for Unit 3, and it's called Module 4. This is to look at objects, and the actual questions are here. So we start off by saying that the file name is supposed to be health_code.php, and we have to put that in a Module 4 folder. So let's make sure that we've got a Module 4 folder, and let's create a new PHP file. So file, new, PHP, create the file, and as always the first thing we do is save. So file, save as, it's got to go inside the Module 4 folder, and it needs to be called health underscore code dot php, and save it. Unlike previous SACs, there will only be one file, and our code is going to go inside the body, which is our usual practice. Henry's Health Store is a small company that supplies health. We've got to create a customer object. So realize that in creating an object, that means we need a class. We need to start PHP. And we need a class. And we're told that that class is to be customer. So again, need to work very carefully. And in terms of what you are writing in comments, don't forget this is an object. And going on from there, let's have a look what else we're told. We're told it can store first name, surname, mobile phone number, and annual purchases. So we need to put those in. Realize that these are properties. So, and they all start off with public because they're going to be available by anything that uses this object. So first name, and again that's a text, so we still follow Hungarian notation inside here, surname, and the next one is mobile phone number. Please note mobile phone number is text because there are spaces in there and brackets in there and plus 61s whenever else. I'm going to call that mobile. And the last one is annual purchases. This can hold decimal values, so we're going to call this a float. Annual purchases. Alright, we need a constructor so that all of those values actually get filled in when a new customer object is created. So we need to make sure that all of the properties get values. So we need a public, am I saying? Function. Underline, underline, construct. And that function accepts $, $text first name, dollar text surname, dollar text mobile, and dollar text, oops, dollar float. Annual purchases. All right, so that's got us all of the information that needs to be used to construct a new customer object. And this particular function is going to populate all of the properties. So dollars this, and then our arrow, and realize that for properties we don't have the dollar sign in there. So first name, and that simply is going to get its value from the dollar text first name, and same for the rest. Realize we are filling in the values for the properties. Please get the terminology correct. Remember, this just means this particular instance of the object. So there we go for mobile. And finally, and this is a float because it can contain decimals. It's money. Alright, so that's our constructor. So the constructor accepts values which then become the properties of this object. So far so good. Save. Let's go on to what else we've got here. So we've done that. We've done that. We now have to have, an object must have a bonus method. So realize a bonus method is what we call functions inside an object. So we need a public function, and quite clearly we are told that this is called bonus. That's the name of the method. It doesn't require any input. So let's look at a bit more we know about the bonus method. Well, the bonus method calculates an annual gift. Customers get this in December and use it for their next purchase. So if their annual purchase is from $0 to $200, sorry, you get nothing. If it's from $201 to $500, they get $20, and so forth, you can see here. And if it's over $1,001, they get $90. So let's go and create that function. Just going to create it with a series of if statements. So if, and where do we get this information from? Dollar this, and it's the annual purchases. If it's greater than 1,000, we're going to go from the top. So if it's greater than 1,000, because if you get greater than 1,000, you get the biggest amount. You don't want to be giving people the smallest amount. So if it's bigger than 1,000, then what comes back out of the function is 90. So notice the order there. We check, are they, because every time you hit a return, that's the end of the function. And once you've returned from the function has stopped doing anything. So you check, are you over 1,000? If so, return 90. And let's be honest, the rest are very similar. So I'm just going to copy this. And the next level is 500. So if you're over 500, you get $40. And the last one, if you're over 200, you get $20. If you've gone all the way through the program so far and this method, and if you haven't been given 90, you haven't been given 40, and you haven't been given 20, guess what? You get nothing. And it's key to see that order. We have to work out the biggest for the biggest, and if that doesn't happen, then you go down to the next level, down to the next level. And save again. So we now have a bonus method, which if you're over 200, in other words 201, you get $20. Over 500, you get $40. Over 1,000, you get $90. Now we need to have a table row echo method, and that's going to display the information in a table, including the annual gift. So if you can see down the bottom here, that's the sort of table that we're trying to make. So probably the simplest way to do this, and there's a nice heading there as well, the simplest way to do this is let's build a table just using Dreamweaver, so outside of the PHP, and then we'll go on from there to actually build this table row method inside PHP. So it's going to be a public, and and although we say the word function, that's what PHP requires, it is a method. Table row echo. And at this stage, I've got nothing in there because we haven't got the code for it. Looks like I can't spell bonus. Let's fix that. Hopefully you picked that up already. Alright, so we need to get ourselves outside of PHP. Right, we haven't ended PHP. It's a bit naughty of me. Let's end PHP. So we've got a cursor there. I'm going to go back to split screen. So up here, I'm now going to build myself the information that I want to see. We're told that the heading is Henry's Health Store. And that's going to have the format of heading 1. Beautiful. And underneath that we need to insert a table. It's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Make sure you're in HTML. Table. It's going to have a heading at the top, and it's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to have 5 columns and just 2 rows. So there's our table. We might as well put the headings in straight away. So first name, don't worry about the sizes. Surname, mobile, annual purchase, and annual gift. All right. Just looking at that table, let's tidy it up just a tiny bit. Let's change the width here. So down the bottom here we can change the width. Let's make it 100. Oops. 100. And we'll make that a %. Okay, that looks better. Okay, and again, let's just save what we've got there. We just need to have something in there so we know where the actual data is going to go. And then we're going to steal just a table row to put into our table row function and put the appropriate PHP in there. All right, so we've got first name. It doesn't matter too much what you put in here. You're not going to use it other than to find out where it is. First name, mob, I don't know, AP, AG. Then we can go back to our code and have a look at what we've got there. All right, here's the table row. Starts off with the TR, ends with the TR, and has F name, S name, mob, AP, and AG in there. So we're going to steal all of that and say, yes, thank you very much. Looks great. Exactly how you put it into here, this is our table row method. We can just, well, I'm just going to paste it in there. PHP is going to go absolutely crazy because it makes no sense. We have to turn this into an echo, which means we need a whole stack of quotes. So we can start a quote there, end the quote there, and unfortunately we're being assisted here, and again we can put a quote there, end the quote, take out the double, and then we're going to join this all together with dots. And all I'm doing is I'm putting around the HTML code, I'm putting quotes around it because that has to be echoed exactly the way it is. I'm leaving the formatting like that just so I can still see the HTML structure. And that would end with a semicolon. We now need to put in, for this object, what where the first name is. The first name stored on a property. So we're going to put a dot, $this, and arrow symbol. And this is the first name. So it's going to be the first name property. And then a dot to join it on. And then we're going to go down here, continue that same idea. This is going to be surname. So dot to join it, concatenate, $this, and this was surname, and the dot to concatenate it to the rest of the string. Down to this one, dot, $this, and this will be the mobile, and the dot, and we can get rid of the mob. If it's not suggesting to you the values, then something's not quite right. And this was the annual purchase. And dot again. Okay. And realize this is the bonus. All right. So this is the bonus, the annual gift that they get. So we actually pick bonus. It's an acceptable thing to pick. It will go inside, do that calculation. It will run through this function for you and return the actual value there and display it. Okay, so even though it's not a property, it can work in there. Okay, so that's our echo statement. Imagine now if I run this through the sausage machine and go edit and code and apply source formatting. Oh, I didn't shuffle it about too much. Not sure I agree with it, but never mind. Okay, so we've done that, saved it. And there's our sample output, should look like that. In terms of our HTML, we don't want this section, so we have to come back to fix that up. All right, we're told here, at this stage we're not testing anything, we're just building the code as been told. We've been told now to create an object extension. All right, and the idea is the extension is an object can inherit all the information from a previous object. So we're going to create a new object for VIP customer that extends the original object. So let's put that statement in. So make sure we're in our PHP section. Remember, we're going to have to fix up this down here. So we are in our PHP section and we have a new class. And this class is going to be VIP customer. and it extends, in other words, customer. And let's have a look at what are the additions on top of just standard customer that a VIP customer has. So going inside there, it has a discount method. All right, so we need to create a new method called discount. So it's a public function called discount. And there's going to be some code in there. Similarly, customers pay $10 a year to be a VIP. So if it's 0 to 2 years, they get 5%, 3 to 6 years, they get 10%, over 6 years, they get 15%. And again, we need to start backwards there to make that work for us. So a series of if statements to handle this situation. So if we'll read a bit more. Okay. It needs to know what the years as VIP is. So a VIP customer is also records how many years they've been a VIP. So to do that, we need a public property. We need to give it a name. You're not told what to call it. It's going to be an integer. And I'm just going to call it years as VIP. All right. Seems like a reasonable thing. All right. Now, hopefully, if I do this, I get a choice of int years as VIP. And if int years as VIP is greater than 6, make sure you get the biggest out first. Return 15. They get 15% off. And the next one's going to be very, very similar. But this time, if it's greater than 2, they get 10%. Otherwise, if it's none of those, they at least get 5. So there's something you get for spending your $10 a year, even if you haven't been a VIP customer for too long. Save that. We also are being told here we have to create a customer info method. So let's do that. customer info. And let's have a look what the customer info has to do. It has to say Peter Smith has been a VIP for 3 years and has a 10% discount. We'll have it just return that as a string. So return this first name and a space in there. And again, dot against concatenating. First name, and we need surname. Our list's getting a little long there. Don't forget a space. Has, what have we got there? Has been a VIP for. And a space there. And we use the years as VIP. And has a I'm going to join this again. Discount. Couldn't see it, let's have to type the first letter. Now realize we need to actually put the percentage sign there. And discount. And that gives us the whole sentence, semicolon at the end. So that's our customer info. Save that. A little bit of the frustration, if I was doing this as a project, I'd be testing this all the way through. But at this stage, I'm just reading through and just trying to make sure I've got all the bits and pieces in here. We now need to create 4 examples or instances of the extended object. This object can't be created at all because it doesn't have a constructor. So let's put that in. Public, underline, underline. Construct. It needs everything that the parent object has. So I'm just going to grab that, save myself some typing. So it needs all of that. So it takes all of that. It also needs the one extra one in there. Which is int years as VIP. And remember, we can say the parent can deal with most stuff. So the parent can deal with all of that. So that's a nice thing about inheritance. Semicolon at the end there. And all we have to deal with in this extension is just the extra bit. So we grab the int years as the IP. Semicolon. All right, so yes, we've got a constructor in there. We've got our property, which is int years VIP. We have our constructor method. We have the discount method in there, and we have the customer info method. They are only valid for VIP customer. All right, from there, we now finally get to actually use this and do something. So, we're told here to create 4 examples of the extended object to the test customer info method so that the bottom of the table displays the 4 lines like the one below. All right, so that was it. Okay, so that's this table here. All right, we've created our 2 classes, our class and our extension class. Let's go back now and actually display some information. So I need to create, so it says here, create 4 test data items and store the result objects in an array. The data should demonstrate that the bonus method is working correctly. So we need to pick data that checks the bonus data. So we need to have somebody in the 0 to 200, someone in the 200 to 500, someone in the 500 to 1000, and someone over the 1000. That will test 1, 2, 3, 4. Strangely enough, is exactly the number that I've said to use in the test data here. All right, so we need to pick something in every spot. So how do we go about doing this? Okay, well, the first thing is we need to go and create an array. I'm just going to call it array customers. Using our standard Camel-Gauss and Hungarian notation. And it's going to be an array with nothing in it. We're going to use our push command. So array push we're going to use to put the data on there. So again, this is going to be a customer object, so I'm going to start off with customer. And I'm just going to call this customer 1, and it's going to be a new customer. Really doesn't matter what the data is, it's your choice. Jane, comma, Smith, comma. Notice up here it's actually telling me what needs to go in there. Then I need a mobile number. Whatever. And again up here, annual purchases. All right, let's pick someone in the bottom end of our scale. So $50. All right. And we need to duplicate that. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to copy some values and then make sure that we satisfy the testing side of things. And we'll make that customer 2, customer 3, customer 4. And we've got $50. And we need someone in the $200 range. And we need someone in the $500 range. Sure, it could be 501. And then we need someone over the $1,000. So there's somebody over the $1,000 to test it. We now need to put those objects into the array. So the command is array push. And what we're going to push is we're going to push onto our array our first customer. So we'll put customer 1 on there. And we're just going to keep going. Except we're going to change that to customer 2. Customer 3. Customer 4. So they've all been pushed on. So this code here creates an empty array, creates 4 customer objects. We've made sure that the values here are useful for testing our method for bonuses, and we've pushed them onto here. We now want to display them. It's now we have to come down here and make some changes inside this HTML. So that's all the headings. We're going to start some PHP. And down here we're going to end the PHP. And inside here we need a loop that goes through the whole of our array. So I'm going to get rid of all of that because we have a table row echo method already built into the object. So we're going to do a for each. Nice thing about for each is it goes through the whole thing. It's going to go through the whole array of customers, and it's going to extract a customer. It will extract each customer one at a time. I'm just going to call this a temp. This is just a temporary customer, whichever one we get up to. And what I need every single one of these temporary customers to do is tell me about themselves by making use of the table row echo. And the reason we're not getting any prompting there is PHP doesn't know what sort of thing this is. It can't tell what's been stored in that array, so it doesn't know that what's stored in that array is customer objects. All right, we probably should test that. At least that's the first time we're going to see something on the screen. Hopefully this will display the table. Remember, open in browser. Please don't try and run this any other way. It's terrible. Okay, I've got an error. Okay, in my haste, in line 50, I didn't say the constructor was a function. And there we have our information. Annual purposes 50, I get nothing. 250, I get 20. 501, I get my 40. And 1200, I get my 90s. That's proved all that's working. And I get my nice table here. So that's all 100% hunky-dory. Let's continue on. We've created our VIP object, and we've been asked to create 4 examples or instances of an extended object. And we're just asked to use the customer info method to show that something's in there. So let's do that. So after this table here, so I can see the table ends there. Let's put in some more PHP. And don't mess up your table by trying to stick extra stuff in here. And we're just going to do some more customers. So like that. Except these customers going to sort that out. Except these customers are not going to be new customers. They're going to be new VIP customers. And we better go change the numbers there. 5, 6. Maybe not. Oh, I can keep them as that. I should be good. But their Hungarian notation should have VIP because they're different. Because their variable type is VIP customer. Right, so that's information, but it needs at least something else. For neatness, I probably should change their names. I need to say how many years they've been in there. And again, we have a series of years in there. So let's go for a 7 years. We'd have to be more than 2, so let's go 3 years. Let's go 1 year. Don't really, they're the only spots in here, so it doesn't really matter. We pick for the last one. Maybe pick 10 years. Okay. And now to prove that they're doing anything, we just need to do a customer 1, and we just have to make sure it goes and puts the information out from customer info. And because that just returned a string, we need to make it do a bit of a prettiness here. So we need to echo, and probably let's put a BR in there so they all end up with their own line. Dot that, and and 2, and 3, and 4. Hopefully now if we get out to our screen here and refresh it, oh dear. Too far, few arguments to function VIP customer. 4 was passed. 5 was expected. Let's find out what I've missed there. Okay, yes. In my haste to duplicate information down here, I actually took out a value. So the information that we had there originally still has to be there plus how many years. So we can put back our 501. And add that, and we can put back our 1200 and add 10 years as VIP. Remember again, it is important that you pick values so you are proving that you're testing the function. All right, so we're trying to test the discount function to make sure it's all working correctly. So refresh, has been a VIP for 7 and, oh, I should say years. I should fix that up too in a moment. And has a 15% discount. So yes, that's correct. For 3 years only has 10%. For 1 year gets the 5% that everybody gets. And for 10 years again, it's over that 6. So you get a 15% discount. Need to fix my statement. It doesn't say years, so let's go and correct that. Has been a VIP for blah 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 years and has a bit much discount. Okay, refresh that, and now that sentence reads correctly. Jane Smith has been a VIP for 7 years and has a 15% discount. And for some reason down here I'm showing body. Seem to have broken the tag there for some reason. Okay. Must have my cursor in the wrong spot at some point. Okay, gone. And that is it. That's everything tested. We've done everything, I believe. Sorry this is a long video, but it's one hit for the whole thing. For example, should demonstrate that the code is working correctly, and you're going to have to back it up as per usual.